Okay, I have been dying to recreate this beautiful smoky eye on Dakota Johnson for such a long time. Like, I actually have so many screenshots of it in my phone, and I constantly like will scroll back and then I find them and I'm like, oh yeah, I really need to recreate this. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I also just quickly wanted to let you know what the lip I'm wearing is, because I like, this is focused on the eyes, but I like this combo. It's relatively close. It might be a little bit more like 90s than like what she has going on. Remember that colors look different on different skin tones, you know what I mean? Anyway, I really like this. I feel like it works really nicely with my coloring. I used first the multi-liner from Tower 28 in Work of Art all over. It's basically like all over my entire lip. Then I did a little bit of contouring with Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is Muted Mauve. And then I literally just tapped in the center mostly this lipstick from Lawless in the shade Tropic. Just like do to bring a little bit of peach into it. So that's the lip. Okay, let's get into the eyes. We're gonna get right into it. All right, we're gonna get right into it. I think what I'm gonna do is take a teeny little bit of my Kosas concealer in the shade 0.5 Neutral. Teeniest little bit. I'm gonna put that on the back of my hand. And then I'm going to just mix that with the smudge proof eyeshadow base from NARS, which is clear, so it doesn't really give any coverage. And I just wanna add a little bit because I do have a lot of red veins happening on my eyes, but I don't need to like completely conceal it, you know? Just because the majority of like the rest of my face is kind of highlighting imperfections. Like, I didn't totally spot conceal. I'm just gonna use Nikki's N16 brush. I'm using mostly eyeshadow primer, mixing that up on the back of my hand. I'm gonna pretty much be recreating this look one for one with maybe a couple little like adjustments, because something that I talk about all the time, and if you didn't see my Monica Bellucci tutorial, then you might want to watch that video. This is where I discuss this topic like so heavily. You can't just look at someone who doesn't look anything like you, who doesn't have your coloring, and expect the makeup to look exactly the same on you. Like, it's just not gonna happen, you know? So I love the way this smoky eye looks, and I wanna pretty much, like I said, recreate it one to one. There are gonna be a couple little exceptions because I'm going to slightly adjust it, because when you look at Dakota Johnson, she has this extremely pale skin, super dark hair, eyebrows, lashes, with these blue eyes. Like, her coloring is different than me. I do have a little bit more contrast in my look now that my hair is darker. But you want to keep in mind that like this contrast, the contrast that she has going on, like if you are blonde and blue-eyed, then putting like super black smoky eye, or even just like these, I don't know, like neutral gray brown tones on your eyes, it's not gonna look the same. It's just not gonna look the same. So please keep that in mind. And do check out that video if you're like, I don't understand, why doesn't this look right on me? Or you understand, but you're like, how can I achieve that same thing but for my coloring? And we'll discuss like those little tweaks a little bit throughout. Okay, so I like that base. It's pretty good. Add a little bit more coverage. I'm just gonna allow that to kind of like set. So I'm gonna start off on the upper lash line with the Huda Beauty Creamy Kohl eyeliner. This one is in the shade Very Brown, which is like a nice chocolatey brown. So I'm obviously going for browns for my coloring. She has like neutral browns, it looks like. They're slightly more cool toned. They work really beautifully on her skin tone. She's probably got black liner. I'm not gonna use a black liner. It's just gonna be a little bit too much for me. Plus, the brown is gonna really, really like not only complement the warmth that I have in my skin and my hair and all of that, but also it's going to help make the green in my eyes pop. So those are the little tricks that you wanna like make adjustments so that it works for your face, right? So I'm going to kind of press this into my lash line to begin with, because it doesn't look like she has a particularly thick liner going on, but her lash line is absolutely thickened, and I do believe she's wearing falsies. And then once I have that, I'm just going to thicken up the lash line on the outer part of the eye. So dragging that up onto the lid, just like that, to kind of create a little bit of a lift. Then I'm gonna go in with my favorite Rephr 03 brush. And this is a nice creamy kohl. So gives you a little bit of time to blend. I'm just gonna soften that line. Doesn't look like she has any kind of like a wing, so I'm really just using this to enhance my eye shape. And if you have really, really watery eyes and eyeliner just like does not stay, then you might want to, like for the tight lining, consider a waterproof eyeliner, and then you can use a creamy kohl like up on the top where you're gonna be doing a little bit of blending. Okay, sufficiently thickened, I think. Now, I'm trying to decide. For the lower lash line, I like to start with my eyeliners like in the inner rim, and also, well, the inner rim is top and bottom, what? The inner rim, basically. So like she has her waterline lined. I'm trying to decide if I want this to be dark. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually mix, it's gonna get crazy, 2 eyeliners, okay? So what I'm gonna do first is go in with the 24-Hour Glide On eyeliner by Urban Decay in the shade Tootsie. This is a waterproof eyeliner, which is why I'm using it in my waterline. You don't really want to use a kohl in your waterline because it's gonna slide around. So I'm gonna go in with this first and just ring the eye. And this way I can kind of decide, like, is this gonna be a little too dark? If it's not, then I won't mix the eyeliner. And I always like, because of my lower eye shape, I have like quite a shelf from my waterline. So I always kind of like drag a teeny bit down onto my lash line just to fill in that gap, because I find when I just rim my my waterline and then I go in with eyeshadow, there's kind of this like separation. So that's just a little tip if you're like me and you have that major separation. See, that does it does seem a little dark to me, especially with the rest of the eyeshadow coming up. So I'm just gonna take a little, does it though? No, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. I was gonna mix, like I was gonna go over it with Caffeinated from Urban Decay, but I feel like this is a little too cool toned. Toby, or should I do it? Oh my God, I'm so indecisive right now. I really don't know. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Oh God, is it ruining everything? It might. I instantly regret that decision. Am I applying more? Yes. Actually, that's not too bad. I'm gonna go back in with my 03 brush and just kind of blend those together. Was it necessary? No. But it did soften that a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? We can always go back in. We can always go back in. For my eyeshadow, I'm going to be using some Lisa Eldridge palettes. So I am going to be using Fawn. Does Fawn still exist? Hold on, let me look this up. Out of stock! I'm gonna use it. Just don't hate me. I'm gonna use it. It's Lisa Eldridge Fawn, okay? And if she doesn't bring it back, we're gonna have problems. I know some of you have the Lisa Eldridge palettes. So if you do, then you can follow along. If you don't, then any neutral palette that you have. I'm actually going to include some like more affordable options at the end of the video, in case, you know, just in case. Drugstore options. I'm actually gonna start with the lower lash line, and I'm gonna be using my Rephr 28 brush. I love these little brushes. I'm gonna dip into, I have no idea what the names are. Upper West Side, this shade right here, which I just think is so perfect for this. It's like a perfect neutrally brown for me to recreate this look. So I'm gonna load that up on the tip of the brush. And looking up, I'm gonna start at that eyeliner. Oh, and these eyeshadows are, I always say that they're idiot proof. They're like so, it doesn't matter like what your skill level is. They blend so perfectly. So I'm going to start tight to the lash line and then slowly blend it down. And it's not like so smoked out. I mean, it's smoky for sure, you know, but it's not like, you know, 2020 or 2016 Alex, which is me, by the way. It's soft. It's just kind of like this part of her eye bag. I was unable to find out who did her makeup in this image, so if anybody knows, please tell me, because it's fabulous and I would love to link to them and look at more of their work. Maybe we could do them for another celebrity makeup artist breakdown. That seems perfect. So to me, in the image that I'm looking at for her, the eyeshadow looks slightly more cool toned. It almost looks like a pewter brown, you know, like there's like a little bit more gray in it. But for me, recreating this, I think this is like the perfect shade. Gorgeous. Looks so silly when I start with my lower lash line. I don't know why I do that. Actually, I do know why I do that, but I don't feel like talking about it. All right, so anyway, now we're gonna go up to the upper lash line. And it is mostly like, I don't know, it looks like she's got like a decent amount of shimmer. She doesn't have too much like sculpting. It looks like it's a very soft sort of smoke. So I'm gonna go in with the Refer Shodo 03 brush. This is such a beautiful blender. Dip into that exact same color. And I'm going to just bring this all around my eye crease. So just literally pressing it in and going back and forth. If this technique, going back and forth like this, does not work for you, and with these shadows, I'd be shocked if it didn't, because they blend so easily. Especially if you have this brush. If you have this combo, like, the blending is gonna be real easy. You can always pat. Like if you have a lot of loose skin, if you have more mature skin, and doing this just kind of like leads to skipping. Same thing on the other side. So obviously like mostly focusing that right on the outer part of the crease, but I'm bringing it in. I'm just not building up as much as possible in the inner part, but I want to make sure that I'm fully outlining that socket. And these shadows blend, they'll just continue to blend. So if you feel like you've put too much down in one area, just keep blending and they'll just continue to go, like I promise. Unless you're using like the most ridiculously sticky eye base in the world. I'm just gonna softly angle my brush like this. It's a little more flat, and I'm just gonna go around the edges of that, because she does have it sort of like diffuse up a little bit. I just don't, I want the majority of the definition to be in the socket. So I'm just kind of making sure that I soften the line there, and I have a teeny bit of that like tone coming up, you know, as opposed to that, which is like heavily defining the eye socket. Making sure that you angle your brush, again, especially if you're using this one, is going to be doing most of the work for you. So you're gonna see, especially as I blend this shadow out, there's a little bit more warmth in this than what Dakota has going on. Again, this works better for my coloring, so keep in mind your coloring. And if you want to do like a one-to-one, like a wholly one-to-one recreation, then you want to use something a little bit more like pewtery, like has a little bit more like cool toned browns, gray in there. Okay, she definitely has shimmer on the lids, but it is a little bit darker. Like this whole thing is a little bit darker. In fact, the eyeshadow overall might be kind of more of like a satiny shimmer. I decided to use the Velvet Mattes from Lisa because they do like even her mattes contain like a teeny little bit of pearl. Like it's very, very soft. It's very luminous, which you can hopefully see. For my lid, I'm gonna use Prima Donna. This is her metallic from her Betty palette, which was inspired by her cat, which I believe is no longer available. It's limited edition for sure. So I know everyone is screaming at me right now using 2 palettes that are like out of stock. But if you have it, you can use this shade. And also, like I said, she does have individual like refills of her things, of her eyeshadows, like individuals of the eyeshadows. So I'll try to link as much as I possibly can. But again, I'm gonna include some dupes. So I'm going to apply this with my trusty E54 from Sigma. This basically works as well as your finger. I'm just gonna make sure that I tap it off. And I'm actually going to kind of like prime the brush. So I'm gonna work it into the back of my hand to prevent any fallout, because I already have my base on. And I'm gonna start in the outer part of the lid, patting. And I'm slowly going to work my way towards the inner part of the lid. Now this is one of Lisa's metallics, which is still very, soft. But if you just go in with your finger and apply like a ton, it might just end up looking a little bit too foiled. So using a brush, or just using a smaller amount, or like priming it on the back of your hand first, can help to sort of like manipulate that formula so that it doesn't end up looking like too metallic. If metallic is what you're going for, then definitely like applying with your finger. You can even mist your brush with a little bit of setting spray. Ooh, gorgeous. That's beautiful. And that is a little bit more cool toned than the other shades that I have going on. I'm just gonna go back in with my blending brush and just soften anything that might have come up into the crease. That's so pretty. Oh, so gorgeous. I love that. This is a petition for Lisa to make the Betty palette a permanent part of the collection, because it is stunning. Okay, and then you'll notice that I started applying here at the outer part, and then I slowly just worked my way in. I didn't pick up any additional product until right now, because I want to make sure, obviously, that both sides are nice and even. Isn't that gorgeous? Smoky eyes used to be my shit. Okay, it was my shit. And I haven't worn like a smoky eye in a really long time. Okay, before we finish off the eyes, I want to thank Idol for being the sponsor of this portion of the video. If you were staring at my gorgeous sparkly earrings, because like how couldn't you? Look at these. Look at these little drops. Look at these little drops. Ooh, they sparkle. Ooh, ooh, look at that. Look at that shine. Look at it. Or my necklace. So pretty, look at that. Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so the earrings are in the style Joan. What I love so much about Idol is that they give you the option to kind of like change up your stack depending on like what you're wearing, what your mood is, what your makeup is, what the occasion is. Okay, so these are separate pieces. So you have the stud that comes separately from this little this beautiful little like crescent moon that just like hugs underneath my earlobe with these beautiful little drops, these little diamond drops that are so delicate. They're so chic and delicate, and they're sparkly without being like ostentatious. You know what I mean? What I love about this is that stud, I can wear that on its own on days when I'm like just, feeling a little bit more like simplistic, like model on the run, you know what I mean? Like my name is Bella Hadid, which I never feel because I'm 5'2", but when I feel like I want to elevate my look or my style to be something a little bit more like elegant or chic, then I can add this stack, and it just it looks so pretty. And I love, personally, I'm a huge fan of like a dangly earring because my hair's short. It makes me feel like I have hair. Like anytime I put on a longer earring, I'm like, and then my necklace is in the style Lena. Now, what I love about this so much is, first of all, you're not gonna be able to see it from here, but I'll show you in like a little B-roll type thing. The diamond piece is not fixed. It's not fixed on the necklace. It can move around. One of the things that drives me so crazy when I have an adjustable necklace Right now, the way I'm wearing it is like on the last rung. But if I wanted to shorten it, which I often do, then you have that dangly thing. And if the piece is fixed on the chain, then you just like have this off-center dangly thing on the back of your neck, and that drives me so crazy. So I really appreciate that it's not fixed, just in terms of like the versatility, being able to wear it and not having those like little things that are gonna bug you, you know? So Idol is designed in Antwerp, the diamond capital of the world, where centuries of heritage meet modern innovation. Each piece passes through 8 pairs of skilled hands, bringing exceptional craft and genuine care to every single detail. The quality speaks for itself. It's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, the shine, it's really making me feel like I need to upgrade the rest of my ear, because it's kind of giving it, it's really stealing the show. It's really stealing the show, basically. These are lab-grown diamonds and real solid gold, which is really what creates that incredible shine. And quality, like the quality is unmatched. If this is something that you are interested in, if you have a little bit of cash to spend, maybe holidays coming up, you want to give like a really luxurious gift, then I highly recommend checking them out. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I love the versatility. And I will link my pieces down below if you are interested. So check out Idol. And thank you so much for sponsoring this portion of the video. Before I move on to lashes, I am just going to grab my highlighter. I used Hindash today. She has like a slightly more what looks like icy highlight going on her face. I used Hindash Doll Dynasty, which is a little bit more like peachy gold. Again, my coloring. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this on my Sigma E36 brush, and I'm just gonna pop. She has like just a pretty little slight reflect in there. It might even just be dewy skin, but I just want that. I just want like the teeniest little bit of reflect right in that little area that tends to get a little bit dark. This is something that is very helpful if you feel like a smoky eye just ends up making your eyes look very like closed, or like me, you have like slightly more close set, slightly deep set eyes in the inner part of your eyes. Then a highlight, it's unmatched. It's just unmatched. And I'm gonna take a teeny bit of this. I'm literally just going do 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 do, little doots, okay? And I'm just gonna place this gently on the brow bone like this. So I'm not carving out the brow. I'm tilting my head the same way you would for like a highlighter. Like, what's the high point of my brow bone? I'm just going to like that, okay? So I want this to kind of look lived in, which has been a theme recently. And like I said, in Dakota's makeup, could be that the areas where I used more like the velvet mattes, she's got like a satin shimmer there. So I see a bit of reflect in those areas, okay? So it's going to look cohesive in this area without looking manufactured. That's not really the word that I wanted, but it works. For lashes, I'm pretty sure she's wearing falsies, because those are incredible. Like, if those are her real eyelashes, then like, we got problems. I have a few different ones. I'm not entirely sure which ones I want to use. I'm gonna try these. These are the, ignore these. These are from my lash tutorial, but these are the Ardell Faux Mink lashes in 817. Sometimes I have a difficult time finding and linking that particular style, but I will do my best. Before I apply my lashes, I am going to give my lashes a quick curl. I don't know why I say quick curl every single time. It's not that quick. With my rougher lash curler. And then I'm gonna go in with the Kosas Soul Gazer mascara. And then I'm going to apply my lashes. If you didn't see my lash application video, I'll link it above. I highly recommend. It's so good, and not that many people watched it, and it is so good, if I do say so myself. Like, a lot of information that is just like so useful to have. I'm gonna be using the Duo Brush On Lash Adhesive in dark. What the fuck was that? Oh, I thought I was being attacked. I thought I was dying. I have these like panels made of styrofoam or foam board that I use to black out my windows when I film, and one of them just like shifted or something. It was terrifying. I truly thought I was gonna die. When you use a black lash glue, you really want to make sure that you've let it get tacky, because if this slides around on you, you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a real bad time. Watch me say that and then immediately like it slides around and I have a bad time. Okay, I don't know if those lashes really do the trick, but they're not horrible. Yeah, they're not bad. All right, and then I'm just gonna squeeze gently my natural lashes to the lash band. And then I always like to just press up. And one thing that I forgot to mention in my lash video is if you ever feel like you have gapping, one thing you can do, or if like you do not want to squeeze your natural lashes to the lash band or the falsies, you can take a little bit of a liquid liner and just kind of, where's my liquid liners? Here's one from Hindash, and you can just like poke, like open up your eyes, poke at your lash line to kind of blend, like fill in any areas that like might look weird when you have your eyes open. Just another tip. It's what I do here. Horrible lash application, by the way, on this eye. I can only apologize. Hopefully you can't really tell. It's terrible. It's so bad. Oh my God. It's so bad. It's fine though. It's fine. When my eyes are open, you can't tell, and it's completely fine. So I'm just gonna be like this the whole time. All right, for my lower lashes, I'm gonna go in once again with that Soul Gazer mascara. And I'm gonna go all the way from the inner to the outer corner, which is something I have not done in what feels like decades. But Dakota has very much those like long lashes on her lower lash line. I'm sorry, I can't. I just gotta get up in here. All right, this is the finished eye up close. Try not to judge me too heavily for my left eye lash application. I'm obsessed. I love. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it looks like it's a part of me. You know what I mean? It's not too dark, okay? I actually don't regret what I did with the Waterline. I regretted it instantly, but then it actually ended up working really, really well. Like I have the same effect that her eyes have without it being too heavy for me. You know? Right? Take a look at this one more time. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I want to just give you a couple little tips, products that are a little bit more affordable if you want to go in this color story, but you don't want to, you don't want to try to track down palettes that are totally out of stock. Lisa, obviously if you have the Lisa Eldridge palettes, then like go ahead and use those or any of your neutral eyeshadow palettes. But for drugstore options, this is a really nice one from CoverGirl, the Clean Fresh. There's so many freaking names on here. I love these little palettes from CoverGirl. This is in 292 Classic Smokey. Okay, so this is their like Clean Fresh eyeshadow palettes. These colors, stunning, gorgeous for this look. Okay, so you have a little bit more of like a pewter gray tone. You have like a more neutrally brown tone. It's got like a little bit of gold in there, you know, so it might be a little bit better if you're a little warmer, but you have, you know, whatever you might need in there. And then also the Milani Gilded Mini palettes I also love in terms of drugstore eyeshadow palettes. I love the Milani Gilded palettes. This is in 150 Call Me Old Fashioned. So once again, you have a little bit more of the like slightly cooler toned browns. You have this like kind of satin dark charcoal. It's not quite black. It's a little bit more of like a charcoal. And then this beautiful like taupey shade that would be, this like would be perfect on my lids, you know, perfect. And then this really beautiful bronzy tone if you're very, very warm toned and you're looking for something like that. So those are some more affordable options if you're looking for them. Once again, thank you so much to Idol for sponsoring a portion of this video. If you are interested, if you are, you know, thinking about the holidays, maybe you want to get yourself a gift. My birthday's coming up. I'm just saying. Like, if you want to get me a gift, if your birthday's coming up is what I meant. And you want something that you can like elevate but you can also dress down a little bit, but it's still like a luxurious kind of style, you know, maybe a little bit more like simplified during the day, and amp it up at nighttime. Highly recommend checking them out. Again, I will link my pieces down below. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Let me know if there are any specific celebrity recreations that you want me to dive into. And also who your like celebrity makeup artist recommendations are for another series like the Nina Park series that I did. I think I got a few requests for Melanie Iglesias. Iglesias? I hope I'm saying that right. She's the makeup artist who has been doing all the like really goth glam looks on Wednesday. What's Wednesday's name? Jenna Ortega. On Jenna Ortega. So that could be the next one we do. I also mentioned Joe Baker. So please let me know what makeup artist style you want me to break down next. Okay, lovely seeing you. I'm gonna go, bye.